EverQuest Next was a 3D fantasy RPG and it was published by Sony Online Entertainment. It was officially announced in 2012 and was first hinted at being in development in 2009, and this game had a hurricane of hype around it. The term WoW killer got thrown around all the time, but EverQuest Next really seemed like it could be the one. It had what looked to be the best graphics ever shown in an online RPG, and supposedly a giant, fully destructible map that was a parallel world to Norath. Now, EverQuest Next was not just an RPG. On top of having the traditional combat-based gameplay, it had a creation mode called Landmark, where you could build structures and shape the world around you. And plans for the game went beyond PC too, because John Smedley, the president of Sony Online Entertainment at the time, went around saying that EverQuest Next would have a PS4 release, and even did a Reddit AMA, where he said there was plans to incorporate EverQuest Next with the Oculus Rift. That's far from the most interesting thing he said during this AMA, but we'll get to that. First, let's go over the classes. The officially announced classes were Tempest, Cleric, Elementalist, Warrior, and Wizard, and John said that the class he was most excited for was the Bard, so it's safe to say that was official too. There were also a whole bunch of theory-crafted classes like Druids and Rogues and Rangers, just from people trying to put 2 and 2 together. Now here's where things start to get a little shady. See, while I was going to look for gameplay footage of EverQuest Next, I came to this shocking realization. There's in fact no raw gameplay footage of EverQuest Next to be found. Like none whatsoever. There's just showcase videos where they remove the HUD and periodically change angles to make it more cinematic. But from what I've gathered, it was going to be a standard MMO combat system like the original EverQuest, and probably had some bells and whistles thrown into it. But here's the interesting part of the AMA that I was talking about. When John Smedley was asked how much of a sandbox game EverQuest Next actually was, he said, quote unquote, "It's hard to say until I've played through the EQN content." Okay, now hold on a second. So John was the president of a company developing a game for the last 4 years at the time, and he didn't even play it? Did anyone besides the core team play this game? Because it seems like they just laid out the groundwork, got stuck, and then used some pre-rendering for Sony to show off. Just shoveling more coal into the hype train's engine. I mean, this was EverQuest Next, the next big online game that was starting the next generation of MMOs. But all in all, we were shown next to nothing. It's just snippets here and there of pre-rendered events, a little bit of concept art, and a lot of people saying how revolutionary the game was gonna be. Well, in 2015, Sony sold Sony Online Entertainment. Now that's the type of high-level management decision that could possibly hinder a project's development. But in the end, all the IPs were just transferred to Daybreak Game Company, with a new president, Russell Shanks, and with that, there was hope for this game. On June 5th of 2015, Terry Michaels, a senior producer, wrote a letter stating, "We have been shifting our focus and resources over to work on the highest priority and task systems that will be used in EverQuest Next." So yeah, they're back on track. At this point, people were having doubts, making theories about how the game was vaporware, a product never intended to be sold and just to generate conversation. But after this letter came 9 months of silence. In fact, the next official announcement about EverQuest Next was posted on March 11th of 2016 by Russell Shanks himself, and in it he regretfully informed that the game has been cancelled. The reasons for this were that the community and the team created expectations that weren't able to be met. And he even went as far as saying that as a whole, EverQuest Next, the game they spent years developing, ended up not being fun. I guess you could say he shanked it. I want to hear what you think about EverQuest Next. Do you think this game could have been made properly? Did it even have a chance of coming out? And would you rather have kept them working on it no matter how long it would take as long as it got released? Please leave a comment below. Or, check this shit out, there's now a Daily Quest Discord. I plan on having actual conversations with my viewers, and anyone is free to join. There'll be an invite in the video description. And if you enjoy listening to me talk about video games and their developers and everything about them, then please subscribe for more content.